Hey guys, sorry, just a disclaimer, please bear with me. I'm a little bit sick. The whole negative 20 degrees in Boston hasn't been serving me well, so I apologize in advance, but I wanted to give a quick recap of 4 out of the 5. I just wanted to keep an even grid, but 4 out of the 5 trades that I just posted for my Forex portfolio. So I'm going to focus on the pound yen, uh, pound yen, dollar CAD, euro yen, Aussie yen is what I'm going to focus on. So as you could tell, I was pretty short the yen, or I'm sorry, pretty short the yen crosses, and all of it panned out fairly technically. We'll start with the pound yen. I am going to go through this rather quickly, so just bear with me. And I've also cleaned up the charts um, just for ease of readability. I'll post this grid afterwards, but I have cleaned up the charts just to highlight the entries that I did make. So the pound yen over the past couple of months, all the way back till is that April 29th of looks like 2016, has been kind of squeezing as it's consolidating up into this area here, right back up into where that blue entry is my that blue strike. Sorry, that blue level is my entry, so that's my short level. Um, we came up, retested. This was a monthly demand zone, supply zone. Sorry, this is a monthly supply zone. Price pushed into that level pretty easily, and then once it gave a bit of a rejection coming out of there, we rejected once. Um, in the middle of that, kind of at the top of that channel, rejected once, dove down, rejected again out of the top of this zone. So obviously I had that short-term resistance there right from this level here. So we've got some short-term resistance where it rejected the last time. Then we dove a bit further south, and eventually we retraced back up with a pretty unhindered bull run. I took that impulse run down, collecting both the pullbacks here and here. Actually, all three pullbacks and here. I included all three of those pullbacks in the impulse run down, which ended up giving us a beautiful. I don't know if you could see it. Sorry, I'm gonna make it a little bit bolder. Beautiful 78.6 retracement right there, which is right on my entry point, just at that 89 level. So we retested that lower channel boundary, came back up, retested that monthly supply zone, got a quick entry right here, right as we tested that confluential area, and then down it went right back to short-term support, which is what we just broke above. So that was a fairly simple one. We look at the euro yen. It played out very, very similarly. Scroll over, with the exception of all of this was a target trade. This wasn't necessarily a pullback trade. You can see that we've got a nice channel topper there. It was breached a little bit. Actually going to get rid of this for now, just to clear it up a little bit. So we've got our lower boundary here, held decently well. Had a little bit of support along the way that we're now testing. But if you look here, we've got a negative 61.8 off of the high to high. Zoom out a little bit and I'll show you. So we've got our high to high from this breakdown point up until this here. We got a nice 50% fill, and then we got our profit targets completed to the upside with some decent resistance. And then on what I did remove, if we take this and we give ourselves that impulse run there, we trickled along that 50% retracement for quite some time before breaking up, and now we filled that negative 23% profit target right at that same level. So I was short right around here. This one I didn't actually put my entry on. What was it? Let's highlight that. Euro yen, this was the big runner, just over 200 pips alone on this one, so 136,496. So let's see where that comes out. So my entry here was right there, right as we tested, right as this little pin here, this quick wick up tested this upper boundary as price slowed down right around these levels here. So that was my entry there. That was quick run down. Let's get out of here and run to the pound yen. So the pound yen had a little bit more confluence in terms of you can see that I've got an ABCD completion up here, so we leveraged that pretty easily right along this. Right along this level here, which had been an area of interest of mine for quite some time now. I was expecting this to push back up into these zones, and then you could start looking for shorts. I didn't necessarily, let's change that color because we've got a lot of red on there already. I didn't necessarily want to try and be the person that could nail that exactly. We did have a nice supply zone up in the middle, which would have probably filled our. Oh, okay. So that was the short-term ABCD completion. So that was kind of in the middle of nowhere there, that little supply zone. So that's why I didn't hold there. Sorry, it's medication's messing with my head. But if you look on a lower time frame, you can see that we've got some resistance, that channel topper. There's a lot going on right there. That ABCD completion, and we were just in front of that big reversal zone. It was a very vague area, so I wasn't too concerned about exacts there. There was too much confluence here not to want a short. So I took this for a quick run down. 153,634 was the entry point. $634. So here was my short entry. It was right at the top, kind of as we were testing that short-term 4-hour resistance right up top there. You see that? So I got in right around this zone. I was not here on the first test. As we dipped back down and came into this area again, we showed some weakness coming out of all of this confluence. That was my first short, or my only short really. And then I ran it down into this area right here, which was short-term support. If you look on the hourly chart, there's a lot to like right there. So that was just a quick rundown, pretty clear skies once you break below this level. So short here, out here, pretty simple to see why the structure held there. And then finally, let's move on to the dollar CAD. This one had a bit more of the higher time frame stuff. So you could see that on the higher time frame on the monthly, what's my entry here? So I was long 12370. Just make sure I have that right. 706. Okay, so 123,706 was my long entry. So it doesn't look like much on the monthly, but it is a nice little pop for January so far. But you can see that I've got a nice short-term trend line built out that was respected, a decent retracement back to the 50%. So here was its original test off of that trend line of the 50% retracement. So this is a good example of whittling down your entries. So this was done on the monthly, had a nice monthly 50% retracement. Then we came back down and retested that trend line again, also testing a short-term broken trend line, which you can see held here, held broken here again. And now we retested it in that cross section. And then furthermore, so you remember we came out of that 50% retracement very strong on the monthly. Well, if you grab a daily retracement, You can see that that sat just above my confluence, my cross area for the daily. So I entered log right here, uh, right on this wick down, and then just held for the last couple of days long. Uh, and it was another pretty simple run out due to the bear strength. I don't necessarily want to try and pull this up super high, so it was just a quick one for me. But all in all, not a bad week. It's Tuesday, collected just over 600 pips for the week. So uh, cruise with the Forex portfolio for the remainder of the week. See what I could add, see what I could take off. But I just wanted to give a recap of why I entered the trades where I did. Again, pretty quick, but if you do have any questions, please let me know, and I will catch you guys in the room.